Yo, what is up guys? I'm Mike back with another video. I am on my secondary location here in my room. And today we're going to be talking about Crisis on Infinite Earths and why I think that the Earth 1 of Crisis on Infinite Earths is the movies. Let's jump into this a little bit. So, for those of you who don't know, brief explanation. I'm going to try to keep this under a minute. Crisis on Infinite Earths is a 5-part episode series based off a comic book series, one of 7 different crises that happened over the years. This godlike being called the Monitor was looking for heroes all across the multiverse. Of course, this ended up with our name brand heroes: Flash, Arrow, The Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, Batwoman, and of course Black Lightning. These guys came together in order to stop the Anti-Monitor, the villain of the 5 episodes, because he was trying to destroy all of the multiverse, everything that existed within life since the beginning of the universe, and replace it with his own dark, evil anti-universe. Brief summary? Cool, we got it. So, from here forward is pretty much all spoilers. Spoiler warning for everything Crisis on Infinite Earths and possibly everything going on right now within the series of The Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, all the works. Just go ahead and just put that all on your bucket list. If you don't want any of those spoilers, don't watch this video. Please stay and watch this video. Anyway, so part 4 of the crisis and part 3 of the crisis ended with the entirety of the multiverse getting destroyed. But our heroes were able to survive by staying in the vanishing point, a place beyond time and space, yada yada yada. They eventually got out when Oliver Queen, who had died, returned as the Spectre, a also godlike being that is the ghost / phantom of the entire multiverse. Essentially, he was the key to them winning the Crisis on Infinite Earths, and he got all his friends out of the vanishing point, allowing Barry to tap into the full range of the Speed Force and take all of them to the dawn of time. Essentially, going all the way back to the beginning, taking it all the way back to the beginning of time, Doc. And they did that. Once they did so, they were able to defeat the Anti-Monitor, restart the universe, and then go back to regular life. Now, part 1, that had some hiccups because they had to get there first. And Barry dropped everyone inside the Speed Force, and it did not go well. Part 2, they defeated him. That came at a cost. Oliver died again. I know. And then part 3, they return to regular life, which I don't think is going to happen, but that is for a whole nother video. We'll talk about that at the very end of the video. Anyway, so part 1, Barry dropped them all in the Speed Force. Because the antimatter is eating away at everything, the Speed Force is basically the only thing left in the universe, and it's starting to eat away at that too. So Barry dropped everyone at random points throughout the Speed Force and had to go pick them up. But who does he find, lo and behold, before he finds any of his friends? Friggin' Ezra Miller, the Flash. He found the movie's version of the Flash just wandering around the Speed Force. And neither of them know how they got there. Ezra doesn't know that the multiverse exists, that there are other Flashes, that the Speed Force exists at this point, might I add. He doesn't know where he is, when he is, or why he's there. But end all be all, he faded away into nothingness, even though at this point there should be no multiverse for him to have come from in the first place. And Barry just pockets that put that in his back pocket. Or does he have pockets in the suit? Nonetheless, he puts that in his back pocket and then goes off to go get his friends and gets to the dawn of time. Boom. Part 2, dawn of time. They get there, they fight the Anti-Monitor, big old showdown, right? And long story short, Oliver Queen goes toe-to-toe with the Anti-Monitor, says, "You will have failed this universe," and kills him. And then from there, well, he almost killed him. But he then from there started the Big Bang. He started the Big Bang over again to birth not only a new universe, but what he calls a new multiverse. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But the key point that I want to bring up here is that the Ezra Miller Flash existed in the old multiverse at some point or another. Got that? Cool. Stay put. Then, now, because of that, we have this new multiverse getting born. Our heroes went into part 5. Part 5 found out the Anti-Monitor is still alive. Then they had to defeat him yada yada yada. Oliver's dead, and we are now on Earth Prime. Now, a little bit of history here. Up until this point, the universes have been split into three different things. We have our main universe: Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, Constantine, the Vixen TV series. All of those TV shows revolve around one Earth, Earth 1. However, then when season 2 of The Flash, when we got introduced into the multiverse, Earth 2, Earth 3, Earth 55, Earth 72, all them types of things, we also were introduced later on into Earth 38, which is where Kara is from. The reason they did this was to create a reason, or rather an excuse, for why the Supergirl TV show, which originally aired on CBS, but then got translated over and aired on CW alongside all the other shows, why she hadn't had any previous interactions with any of their heroes. So that was a good way to do that. Then when Black Lightning came out, everybody was expecting him to show up and there'd be some sort of tie-in with an Oliver Queen reference, or an Arrow reference, or a Flash reference, a Legends of Tomorrow flying around their space shuttle ship, anything really, right? But then we got none of that, and it made no sense at all. And I was like, where is Black Lightning, and why is he not with the rest of the heroes? It was one of my many problems with the TV show. Don't worry, I will be doing a video on that very soon. Anyway, this solved all of that, because essentially, end all be all, when all this ended and the multiverse was rebooted, we ended up on Earth Prime. Earth Prime was an amalgamation of everything from Earth 1, everything from Earth 38, Supergirl's Earth, and everything from what is presumably Earth 72, Black Lightning's world. We got a screen that showed Earth 72 getting erased, just as in another scene, what was his name? Pariah was bringing Black Lightning from his dying Earth to the fight, into the fight, to help them. But, so it's presumed that it might be Earth 72, but that's not a concrete evidence. Anyway, those Earths were amalgamized together into what is now Earth Prime. As for all the other Earths, we did get to see a montage at the very end of the episode where Oliver Queen was talking about the multiverse and the dawn and age of heroes. We got to see a cameo from Earth 2 showing Stargirl and the new Justice Society of America that's going to be airing pretty soon in May. And then we got to see Earth 12, Earth 96, I believe, and I believe there might have been something else. I feel like it was like a Tim Burton Batman reference. But essentially, that Tim Burton Batman reference, alongside Kingdom Come Superman, which was played by Christopher Reeves, but is also, might I add, Christopher Reeves is, not Christopher Reeves, Brandon Routh. Brandon Routh's character is from Superman Returns, which is the final movie of the Christopher Reeves series that he started and Brandon Routh ended. Whew! All that information being said, we have those two movies, those two separate movies from the olden days, back in the dark ages when no one thought we'd ever be here, in any shape, form, or fashion. And then with all of that, the last thing that really kicked it off for me was Earth 12. Earth 12, while it didn't show his face or any of the characters, it was a clear scene from the 2012 rendition of Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds in it. So that's 3 movies and an upcoming TV show in our newfound multiverse that, might I add, our heroes have no idea exists. Now, remember what I said earlier about Ezra Miller's Flash showing up and how this is the basis of my theory? Scratch that. I don't think he showed up from a pre-Crisis universe, because that would have had to have been established. What I do think is that this is from the new universe. I think that he somehow managed to travel back. And the reason that he vanished instead of dying right then and there, or still somehow being staved behind the same way that even though Earth 1 is gone, all of our heroes are still alive, the reason that he vanished is because he was sort of like a preview of what's to come after the whole Big Bang thing and situation took place, because the Speed Force resides outside of space and time as well. Essentially, all that being said, Ezra Miller's Flash is our key point for being able to figure out that the DCEU and all of those movies exist somewhere within our universe. And what's the most likely situation for the universe they reside in? Well, giving the egotistical and more like bullying that the Warner Brothers and DC have been doing to the TV shows, I'm gonna say Earth One. Of course, the TV shows gave them a leg up, and I love it because if you understand this properly, the movies are Earth 1, but the TV shows are Earth Prime. So a little bit of back history so you can understand why this is so rich to me and so ironic. So first off, the movies I'll get all their stuff from Warner Brothers, are allowed to use pretty much anything you could see in the DC universe. If you want a movie with Batman, Killer Croc, and Harley Quinn, you got it. We can do that. But the TV shows have to have written permission or have a certain amount of characters that they can use within their series. This is why Diggle was only shown and cameoed as a Green Lantern in the very last episode. This is why up until recent years, like in the last year and a half, give or take, we haven't seen a Batman, we haven't seen a Superman, we haven't even heard of a Wonder Woman within the CW universe because they can't use those characters because those are the three main characters for the movies. The TV shows can't use them. It even got to the point that in the TV shows, just before Suicide Squad release, they killed off Amanda Waller and they got rid of Deathstroke and had him just go away somewhere. And they killed off Deadshot too, in order for those three characters, some major characters that would come up in Justice League and in Suicide Squad, to appear without there being any issues. Now, why they continue to do this, I have no idea. We're not idiots. We know there are different faces. We know there are different actors. And anybody is smart enough to do a Google search and say, why are there two Batmen? Simple. Simple Google search, people. But Warner Brothers thinks that we're idiots and decided to restrict the TV shows from doing that. But yet still they were able to make a 5-hour episode series of Crisis on Infinite Earths that is by far better than anything that they have produced besides Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey and then Joker. Those are 4 movies, most of them being solo movies, might I add, that have done fantastically. I have a whole nother video talking about why I hate DCEU, and then I have another video coming up pretty soon that is going to be talking about why I already did that one. That talks about why I love the movies and where that's going to be going with the Elseworld storylines and a new mix of the multiverse. But this is getting a little long. End all be all. The TV shows have one-upped themselves by creating themselves the Prime Universe, the big bad, the ones that started it all, and making them, oh yeah, you guys can be number 1. But remember, we're always better than you. I'm Mike Guys of PK Studios. That is my thoughts and my theories. I think that Earth 1 is the movies and the TV shows contained within the CW multiverse now. And yep, my mouth is dry. I'm gonna go drink a glass of water. Oh, by the way, another Crisis on Infinite Earths video coming out pretty soon, talking about how the movies can pull off a Crisis on Infinite Earths even though the TV shows did it and they exist within their universe. That'll be coming out at some point in the future.